okay, this is an experiment, and I don't know how it's going or anything like that. I don't see the progress bar progressing. Should I give this up? It's absolutely futile. I mean, you know.
Okay.
I don't even see it.
Let's explain what's happening.
The,
First of all,
looks like
no matter how we set the settings, the music is way too loud.
Wow.
I've set it to like 5%.
Then
It's still
okay. I mean,
booming.
Can that even be heard? Looked like it would be.
So
but,
apparently, the music
anyway.
settings just don't work in this game. This is the anniversary edition of
I guess,
The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
because I haven't got it right.
I am your poorly aging, sarcastic, PC witty gamer. We're going to start a new game because our old save just isn't loading anymore. I don't know if this is going to crash or what's going to happen. Let's give it a try right here on your new favorite YouTube channel. And the scrolls have foretold of black wings in the cold, that when brothers wage war, come... I don't know what comes because it won't tell me. I didn't get a chance to read it. Bethesda Game Studios, yay! Presents. What do they present? A bunch of text up in the upper left-hand corner. This tells you some of the mods we've got going. The Elder Scrolls V. So apparently there were a whole bunch before that. Skyrim. So a bunch of skies, because I am at the end of a word makes it plural. Well, if this was in Hebrew. If this game's in Hebrew, we're not going to get a lot of people watching it, probably. Do these guys talk or anything? Because if they don't talk, this is going to be a very boring game.
You're finally awake.
Yeah, I was taking a nap.
You were trying to cross the border, right?
No, I tried to nap.
Right into that Imperial ambush.
I was trying to sleep.
And that thief over there.
What thief?
Damn you stormcloaks. Skyrim was fine until you came along. Empire was nice and lazy. If they hadn't been looking for you, could have stolen that horse.
Who's the guy in the fancy clothes?
You there. You and me. We shouldn't be here. It's these stormcloaks the Empire wants.
What are stormcloaks?
We're all brothers and sisters in binds now.
I don't see any sisters.
Shut up back there.
What's wrong with him, huh?
Watch your tongue. You're speaking to Ulfric Stormcloak, the true High King.
Ulfric, the Jarl of the Windhelm? You're the leader of the rebellion.
Who's the leader of the club that's made for me and you?
Gods.
You and
They're
me.
taking us.
M-I-C-K-E-Y. M-O-U-S-E.
But Sovngarde awaits.
What's Sovereign Guard?
This can't be happening. This isn't happening.
It seems like it's happening, dude.
Hey, what village are you from, horse thief?
Why do you care?
A Nord's last thoughts should be of home.
Oh, so they're Nords. Okay.
I'm from Rorikstead.
General Tullius, sir. The headsman is waiting.
Good. Let's get this over with.
He's way up there. How come we can hear his voice so clearly?
Sure. Marl, Debella, Kinnereth, Akatosh, Divines, please help me.
Divines? There's only one god. Maybe we're in trouble because you worship all these fake gods. You're an idolater.
Tullius, the military governor. And it looks like the Dalmor are with him. Damn elves. I bet they had something to do with this.
You got some really weird gloves on, dude. And try not to say the D word. We're on a G-rated YouTube channel.
This is Helgen. I used to be sweet on a girl from here.
Well, at least it was a
I
girl.
wonder if Elod is still making that mead with juniper berries mixed in.
She got you drunk?
Funny. When I was a boy,
You're still a boy, I would think.
towers used to make me feel
What are you now? Because you look like a boy. You got a beard, all of that. Those weird gloves. When you were a boy, I'm confused.
Inside the house. Now.
Yes, Mama. Get these prisoners out of the cars. Prove it.
Why Why are we stopping?
We're not stopping. We're still moving. Can't you see us moving? It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know. Again, there's only one God.
Wait, we're not rebels.
Well, you're idolaters.
Some courage, thief.
You've got to tell them we weren't with you. This is a mistake.
Step towards the block.
This is a mistake. This is a mistake.
Empire loves their damn lists. It has been an honor, Jarl Ulfric.
Well, he just gets to walk around. That's nice.
No, I'm not a rebel. You can't do this.
Looks like they can.
You're not gonna kill me.
Archers!
They're probably going to kill him.
Anyone else feel like running?
Well, I felt like it, but the whole arrow in the back thing kind of... Isn't there supposed to be a guy standing there next to you? Okay, I don't know what to go with. I've been doing Argonian playthroughs. Let's go Khajiit, and we'll call ourselves KhajKiit. That'll be funny. Very funny. I'm not going to spend a lot of time making this character. I can't even see the sliders. I was going for something different. Yeah, I could be a blue cat. But I think, you know, I think being a purple one would be better. Purple cat, purple cat. And we'll name him, how do you spell Khajiit? I already forgot how to spell Khajiit. KhajKiit. Hopefully you don't hear my dog barking in the background. There's nothing I can do about it if you can. I don't know what happens now because the guy that's supposed to be standing next to her isn't there. Yeah, he's not there. That's weird. So she acts as if he is. She says her part. And of course he doesn't say his part because he's not there. This is weird. We might have to start all over again. And I look really weird. And I'm just sliding, not walking, if you're wondering why my... Now notice my hands are not bound. This will come up later because when I try and pick things up, it's going to say your hands are bound. But you see my hands are not bound. This is really weird. Restore the peace. Restore the peace. Restore the peace that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made.
Carry on.
Yes, General Tullius. Give them their last rites.
As we commend your souls to Aetherius.
I can't go into first person mode right now for some reason.
Let's get this over.
I don't know what mod is affecting it, but there you go.
Come on. I haven't got all morning.
Well, you know, it's kind of serious. So, you know, where's our trial?
My ancestors are smiling at me.
Shouldn't we have lawyers or something? Now, I'm pretty sure he didn't get a trial at all, so this isn't fair at all.
You imperial bastards!
Justice!
And it's kind of bloody for a G-rated YouTube
As
channel.
fierce in death as he was in life.
Next, the cat!
I think that's me. I look like I'm the only KhajKiit here. KhajKiit, see, it's kind of like a play on words. Come on, let's go forward, dude. Now see, I'm not walking, I'm just sliding.
in oblivion is that?
I don't know. I can't look at it because it won't let me mess with my camera. So here's a perfectly good scene with the dragon, and I don't even get to see it. Focus would be good here. Now, you notice my hands are unbound. But see, it says your hands are bound. It's lying. My hands are not bound. Look at, they're going back and forth. Dude, Ulfric, get out of my way.
What is that thing? Could the legends be true?
Legends don't burn down villages.
I can't go into first person mode.
We need to move now.
Okay, I'll move now.
The tower.
I'll go up through the tower. That's a good idea. Up through the tower, the reindeers pause. Out jumps good old Santa Claus. Okay, that looks like it was a dragon.
See the inn on the other side. Jump through the roof and take over.
Oh, you want me to jump over to where the dragon was? What a great plan. Might as well jump. Go ahead and jump.
You need to get over here now.
We need to get in first person mode now, but we can't. I keep trying, but
Still alive, prisoner? Keep close to me if you want to stay that way.
why would you talk to me if you didn't know whether I was alive?
Notorious and join the defense. God's guide you, Admiral.
There's only one God. Stinking pagans. I want to get in first person mode.
Stay close to the wall. Quickly, follow me.
I am, but I'm running out of jokes because we've done the beginning of this thing so many times. Well, actually, I could go with the other guy if I want to. I don't remember his name. Although he's not leading me. That's why I end up going with you. Oh yeah, I could have gone with Rayloth.
You're not stopping us this time.
Fine. I hope that dragon takes you all to Sovngarde.
Well, that's sweet of you. Into the keep. Into the keep. You notice Hadvar doesn't go into the keep. I go into the keep.
Looks like we're the only ones who made it.
No, everybody. We saw all those people out there. You shouldn't say we're the only ones that made it. That's not true.
Here, let me see if I can get those bindings off.
Well, there's actually no bindings on.
There you go. Take a look around. There should be plenty of gear to choose from. I'm going to see if I can find something for these bones.
Okay, I'm gonna do a save,
In one of these chests. Look around.
and then I'm gonna go to the mod configuration menu and see what things are set, what I can set. Looks like everything's okay for that one. Wildcat combat. Now, the last time I played this game, the enemies actually didn't they didn't go after me, which was weird. They went after my companions, but not me. They weren't interested in me. So I don't know what's affecting that. I hope it's fixed in this new run through. I will tell you, I like starting Bethesda games more than I like finishing them. So I'm not too upset that I have to start again. But on the other hand, for you guys to see the real game, yeah, we'd have to get to a point where we could get past the first dragon attack. But where it started crashing was after the first
See if one of these chests has a bomb for you.
dragon attack on the previous save. We were playing as
Got to be a sword or two in one of these chests.
an Argonian. I wish that guy would quit interrupting me. The first Argonian we did, he was named Walks on Blistered Feet, because Argonians have kind of weird names. And so we played him until we got to the point where his save file wouldn't load anymore. And then we played as his son, which was Walks on Blistered Feet. The second. And then we even played Walks on Blistered Feet, the third. And that's the one that we just played, and we got to the point where it wouldn't load anymore. And I'm sure it's my mods. I don't know what's going on. It could be the fact that we're making these recordings as well. But the purpose of playing it is to make these recordings, so if we weren't making them, there wouldn't be much of a point to any of this. With some of these, they've remembered my settings, and so that's why I don't have to... I mean, I'm checking to make sure they're right, but they remembered settings from previous playthroughs, so that's nice. Yeah, these are my settings from a previous playthrough, so that works well.
Sword or two in one of these chests. Look around.
There we go, we're in first person mode for the first time.
Chests has a bomb.
The Hold of Skyrim, a field officer's guide for use by officers of the Imperial Legion. Then why is it here? I mean, because anybody could find this. Welcome, loyal officer of the Empire. You have been given this guide to help you and those men under your command better understand the geography of Skyrim. Since you'll be serving in Skyrim for a lengthy period of time, this information should prove invaluable. I'll learn how to read eventually. And that brings up our first problem. Don't we have, since this is set during medieval times when most people were illiterate, don't we have people in the military that can't read, and thus this book would be no good to them? Skyrim is organized into 9 holds. A hold is a large area of land roughly equivalent to a county in Cyrodiil. Each hold is governed by a Jarl who maintains his court in the hold's capital city. 4 of these holds are fairly small and sparsely populated. As a result, the capitals are little more than towns. The 5 major cities of Skyrim act as capitals for the larger holds. Following is a detailed review of each hold. Eastmarch. Located in the eastern reaches of Skyrim, Eastmarch shares a common border with Morrowind. Jarl Ulfric Stormcloak rules from the ancient city of Windhelm, and he and his followers should be considered your most serious threat. Do not tread lightly in Eastmarch, for the Stormcloaks are at their strongest and the most organized in these lands. As an Imperial soldier, you will find few friends there. Now, this is another thing. This is a book. You would think that it should be a scroll or a letter or something, because, one, you don't want to publish this as a book because the enemy will get this book, and so they'll have the same information you have. The other thing is it's talking about who is Jarl of a particular hold. Well, During the lifetime of a book, Jarls might change. Somebody could get sick, somebody could die, be replaced, there could be wars or anything. In fact, there is a war right now, and some of these Jarls are going to be replaced. So to put it in book form, it's not going to be accurate. I mean, something could happen a couple of weeks after this is published, and this will never be accurate information again. Falkreath, located in the pine forests of southern Skyrim, Falkreath Hold borders Cyrodiil to the south and Hammerfell to the west. Its most prominent geographical feature, Lake Ilanalta, covers a vast portion of the region's central landscape. The Hold capital, also called Falkreath, is home to the largest cemetery in Skyrim, as a result of numerous battles that have taken place over the years. The remainder of the area is almost entirely wilderness, and the only other notable settlement is Helgen to the east. Falkreath's position in Skyrim is rather strategic for the Empire. It not only controls access to the Reach, Whiterun, and the Rift, but also acts as an important supply line in and out of Cyrodiil. Again, this sounds like information you wouldn't want to get into the hands of the enemy. I think a courier should be delivering this as a letter. Hafnir. Solitude, the seat of the High King of Skyrim and the capital of Hafnir Hold, has always welcomed the Empire with open arms. Much commerce flows along the rivers here, and you will find the folk of this hold to be among the most hospitable in Skyrim. As you venture forth in your campaigns, be sure to maintain a secure supply line back to Solitude. The Empire maintains ample provisions in Castle Dor, from which General Tullius commands all the legions stationed in Skyrim. Again, if he were to get killed or something like that, this wouldn't be true anymore, so it's kind of dumb to put it in a book. Hellmarsh. This hold is divided evenly between windswept tundra, dotted with farms, and huge stinking salt marsh. There is little of interest here, save perhaps for the hold's capital, Morthal. Again, I don't know how this could possibly be true. Tundra is frozen earth, so you actually can't grow stuff in frozen earth. So when it says windswept tundra dotted with farms, how could that be? What can you farm in tundra? Maybe I'm missing something. If you become a subscriber here to the poorly aging, sarcastic, PC Witty Gamer YouTube channel, you can certainly leave me a comment about what you can grow in windswept tundra, but I'm thinking you can't grow anything because tundra by its very nature means you cannot grow stuff. Jarl Ingrad Ravenscrow has been cooperative enough with the Empire in the past, but will ultimately look out for her own interests if put in a difficult position. Again, we don't know that she's going to be Jarl at the time when we pick up this book. So it's weird to put it in a book. While the hold offers minimal strategic value to the Empire, it would make an ideal staging ground for a Stormcloak siege of Solitude, and so must be held against the enemy. The Pale. The Pale is a barren realm covered by vast fields of ice and snow. Its boundaries stretch from the center of Skyrim all the way to its northern coast. Here, at the capital city of Dawnstar, can be found one of the busiest ports in the province. With access to the coastal waterways of Skyrim, Dawnstar could prove vital in the war effort. Should the Stormcloaks choose to attack Solitude from the river, this port would make a tempting target due to its close proximity. The Reach. Dominating the western border of Skyrim, the Reach is made up mostly entirely of steep, craggy mountains. Little grows in this forbidding realm, but the capital city of Markarth is nigh impregnable stone fortress that would make an excellent defensive position for either side in the war. Be aware that this dangerous region of Skyrim is home to the Forsworn. the rebellious natives of the Reach. They know the terrain, can strike without warning, and count the Empire as an enemy. If they attack, you must neither give nor expect any mercy. The Rift. This hold occupies the southeast corner of Skyrim, and much like the Reach in the west, is dominated by tall mountain peaks. The climate in the Rift is milder than the northern holds, and there is more vegetation to be found here. Farming thrives as a result. A word of warning about Riften, the Hold's capital city. Our agents have reason to suspect that the Thieves Guild makes its home here, though it is now much diminished from its strength of previous years and Elder Scrolls games. Nevertheless, mind that your men keep an eye on their coin purses should they have reason to spend any length of time in the city. Well, I think if my men have purses, they're probably not the kind of men I need in the army. This isn't the don't ask, don't tell era. Whiterun. This central hold is characterized by wide, grassy plains that are home to numerous farms. Many roads pass through Whiterun, joining the more distant holds together. The hold's capital city, also called Whiterun, sits high on a rocky promontory amid a large, flat swath of scrubland. Among the wealthiest cities of Skyrim, Whiterun has usually proven friendly to the Empire soldiers. Winterhold. This bleak, snow-driven hold in the northeast corner of Skyrim is utterly inhospitable. Perhaps the Mages at the College of Winterhold choose to make their home there because they knew they would be left largely alone. As with Falkreath and Whiterun, the name of Winterhold describes both the hold and its capital city, though the word city hardly applies. The hold capital is a meager village built near the Mages College. Few other noteworthy settlements exist in this frozen waste, and it is unlikely to play any significant part in the war. What is it good for? Absolutely something. I said war. Ooh, what is it good for? Okay, run for your lives, realistic water tooth, quest requirements. Now, okay, it looks like those are reasonably set. I probably set them before and it's remembering my settings. I'm guessing that's why they're already set right. Quick trade, I don't think we're going to need, but if we do, we'll use the B to open up the merchant's inventory. The maximum chance to pickpocket will be 100%, but the minimum will be 0%. Ordinator perks are set. I think Nether's follower framework is also set, but let's look. Yep, they can create torches, create arrows, and all that. It is set. Okay. The missives. I don't know anything about these, so we will leave them as they is. My home is your home. Lucian. Since we are called KhajKiit, we did that because he has actually the ability to say Keet. Now he won't call us KhajKiit, but he will call us Keet, which is the closest we can have him do. And we'll make him basically a mage with flames, frostbite, and healing. So we're just getting through this list as quickly as possible. We'll make the average reward for completing quests from the Dark Brotherhood higher. We'll set immersive HUD so that every time we hit the X button, it'll either turn on or turn off the I like that one, by the way. It'll turn on or turn off the HUD. Immersive Fort Dawn Guard. You go to options on it and it says there are no options for Immersive Fort Dawn Guard. So why did they make a mod configuration menu entry if there was nothing you could change about it? Perspiring minds want to know. This is immersive creatures. We're just double checking to make sure everything is the way we expect it to be. None of this is anything I remember, so I'm not going to mess with it. Immersive armors. Now what I do with this is I take... Oh, okay, it remembered it. Dragon Knight armor. Since I usually wear light armor, I always want to make sure that one armor that I really like to wear is actually available. For me to wear. Otherwise, just the enemy's going to have them. These are setting the chances that I'll encounter somebody. I don't want to be talking to people all the time, and so I'm setting them at half of what they would normally be. Around half. Like, that one was 10%, I set it to 4%. So I still want to encounter them. I just don't want it to be, you know, all the time. All the wasted time. All the years waiting for a sign. You'd think you'd have it all the time. I think I should be paid 1,000 gold when I take down a dragon on a bounty quest. So I'm setting the bounties the way I think they should be. Yeah, you make more money doing it this way, but we've set it up so that there are things that cost more money too. One is pitch black, so we don't want one, but we want it pretty dark. Let's go 65 and see what our dungeons look like there. And everybody remember that we have a setting for dramatically darker dungeons. Mixed Unit Tactics in the 5 Years' War, Volume 1 by Codus Colonus. The legions could learn from the unconventional tactics used by the Khajiit in the 5 Years' War against Valenwood. I think that'd be the legion, because the word legion is already plural, and so to put an S on the end of a word that's already plural is stupid. I was stationed at the Sphinx Moth Legion Fort on the border near Dune and witnessed many of the northern skirmishes firsthand. The war started with the so-called slaughter of Torval. The Khajiit claim that the Bosmer invaded the city without provocation and killed over 1,000 citizens before being driven off by reinforcements from a nearby jungle tribe. The Bosmer claim that the attack was in retaliation for Khajiiti bands who were attacking wood caravans headed for Valenwood. In the spring of the Third Era, the 396th year, the war moved closer to Fort Sphinx Moth. I was posted on lookout, saw parts of the conflict. I later spoke with both Khajiit and Bosmer who fought in the battle, and it will serve as an excellent example of how the Khajiit used a mixture of ground and tree units to win the war. The Khajiit began the fight in an unusual way by sending tree-cutting teams of Khajiit and the fearsome Sensheirat, or battle cats, into the outskirts of Ellenwood's forest. When word reached the Bosmer that trees were being felled, allegedly a crime in the strange Bosmeri religion, a unit of archers were dispatched from larger conflicts in the south. The Bosmer were thus goaded into splitting their forces into smaller groups. The Bosmer archers took up positions in the remaining trees, whose branches were now 20 or more feet apart, allowing some light into the forest floor. The Bosmer bent the remaining trees with their magics into small fortifications from which to fire their bows. When the tree cutters arrived the next morning, a half-dozen Khajiit fell to the Bosmer arrows in the first volley. After that, the Khajiit took large wood shields from the backs of the Sensheirat and made a crude shelter. The Khajiit, even the enormous Sensheirat, were able to hide between this shelter and one of the larger trees. When it became apparent that the Khajiit would not leave their shelter, some Bosmer chose to descend and engage the Khajiit sword to claw. When, now see, you shouldn't have two sentences in a row that begin with the word when. It's just boring, it's a bad writing, it's lazy writing. And before you write to me and say, hey, they can write however they want. Yes, they can write however they want. But I'm an author. I think I know something about lazy, boring, bad writing. When the Bosmer were nearly upon the shelter, one of the Khajiit began playing on a native instrument of plucked metal bars. This was a signal of some kind, and a small group of the man-like Olmes and Olmesrat emerged from covered holes on the forest floor. Although outnumbered, they were attacking from behind by surprise and won the ground quickly. The Bosmer archers in the trees would have still won the battle were they not having troubles of their own. A group of Dage and Dagerat, two of the less common forms of Khajiit who live in the trees of the Tenmar forest, jumped from one tree to another under the magical cover of silence. They took up positions in the higher branches that could not hold a Bosmer's weight. When the signal came, they used their claws and either torches or spells of fire. Accounts from the two survivors I spoke with vary on this point, to distract the archers while the battle on the ground took place. A few of the archers were able to flee, but most were killed. Apparently the Daji and the Dajirat have more magical ability than is widely believed, if they were able to keep themselves magically silenced for so long. One of the surviving Bosmer told me that he saw a few ordinary cats among the Daji, and even claimed that these ordinary cats are known as Alfich, and that they were the spellcasters. But Bosmer are almost as unreliable as the Khajiit when it comes to the truth, and I cannot believe that a house cat can cast spells. I don't know why you're writing a whole book and publishing it based on accounts you got from the Khajiit and the Bosmer if you don't believe that their accounts are true. At the end of the day, the Khajiit lost perhaps half a dozen fighters out of the force of no more than 4 dozen. While the Bosmer lost nearly an entire company of archers, the survivors were unable to report back before a second company of archers arrived, and this strategy was repeated again with similar results. Finally, a much larger force was sent, and the Bosmer won the battle with the help of the native animals of Ellenwood. That third skirmish and the Khajiiti response I will discuss in the second volume of this series. Oh, please don't. I think we bored the audience enough. You better stop telling me what to do. Just checking to make sure everything is in order. So far it is. Oh, what we didn't look at and is the most tedious to fix is timing is everything. This will determine how much gold comes off your bounty every day. How do we miss timing is everything? Is it not here? There it is. Load settings. Looks like it didn't load anything. Let's look. Oh, these look right to me. Yeah, they are right. So they did load them good. It's very tedious to load. Okay, I think we're ready to go.
You better get some gear.
You better stop telling me what to do. Yeah, there's not a sword in the chest. The swords are hanging on the wall where everybody can see them, you idiot.
Let's keep moving.
You better stop telling me what to do. You're annoying me, and I can kill you. So now we go here. Okay, what I'm going to do is, and you might think this is crazy, and you might be right, but I just cast a power, not a spell, but a power that would make me bad at everything. I do this so that I can have the fun of first starting out skilled at nothing. You notice they're all at 1. And second of all, I get to level up in the things that I actually use, and I won't be just magically skilled at things I don't use. Now, I favorited flames and healing. I use both of those spells. Those are the spells we started with. I'll set the hotkeys for them. So healing is 5 and flames are 6.
Come on, this way.
Now I've set 6 on. And I'm going to put on the Imperial Light Armor. Now, if I had gone with the other dude, the Imperial, it would have been, you know, the armor from the other group that would have been available to me at this point.
Just give me a minute. I'm out of breath.
Hear that?
Now, they're the enemy, so I'm going to kill them. And I'm going to loot their bodies so that, first of all, I'm going to use their uniforms later on in the game. There is a purpose for them. But also, whatever I don't use, well, even what I do use, now that I come to think of it, I will later be able to sell. Remember, I've started with no skills now, and so the ones that I actually use will be built up.
Damn, that dragon doesn't give up peace.
What are you doing? Keeping it out of Helgen. Now!
It looks like we still have the bug where the enemy isn't going against me, or their soldiers would have gone against me, but they didn't. If I figure out what's causing the bug, I will fix it, because the game is a little more boring when I'm fighting enemies and they don't even know I'm there. Now, one of the things I do in the meantime is I do collect companions, and most enemies will target my companions. And I know these are fictional characters in this game, but I do feel guilty killing them since they're not trying to kill me. But remember, they should be trying to kill me. They're just not. And I'm probably going to do shorter videos right now, especially because we've had a lot of crashing in this game due to the number
Gods, I wish we didn't need these.
and choice of the mods that I've been using. Notice I fought the enemy, but none of the enemy fought me.
Don't you even know what's going on? A dragon is attacking Helgen.
Hot dragon, please, don't make up nonsense.
A Brief History of the Empire, Part 1 by Stronach K. Thoj III, Imperial Historian. Before the rule of Tiber Septim, all Tamriel was in chaos. The poet Tacitus called that period of continuous unrest days and nights of blood and venom. The kings were a petty lot of grasping tyrants who fought Tiber's attempts to bring order to the land. But they were as disorganized as they were dissolute, and the strong hand of Septim brought peace forcefully to Tamriel. The year was the second era, the 896 year of it. The following year, the emperor declared the beginning of a new era. Thus began the third era, year Ot. For 38 years, the Emperor Tiber reigned supreme. It was a lawful, pious, and glorious age when justice was known to one and all, from serf to sovereign. On Tiber's death, it reigned for an entire fortnight, as if the land of Tamriel itself was weeping and mourning. The emperor's grandson, Pelagius, came to the throne. Though his reign was short, he was as strong and resolute as his father had been, and Tamriel could have enjoyed a continuation of the Golden Age. Alas, an unknown enemy of the Septim family hired that accursed organization of cutthroats, the Dark Brotherhood, to kill the Emperor Pelagius I as he knelt at prayer at the Temple of the One in the imperial city. Pelagius I's reign lasted less than 3 years. Pelagius had no living children, so the crown imperial passed to his first cousin, the daughter of Tiber's brother Agnorit, Quintira, former queen of Silvanar, assumed the throne as Quintira I. Her reign was blessed with prosperity, profanity, and good harvests, and she herself was an avid patroness of the art, music, and dance. Quintira's son was crowned after her death, the first emperor of Tamriel to use the imperial name Uriel. Uriel was the great lawmaker of the Septim dynasty and a promoter of independent organizations and guilds. Under his kind but firm hand, the Fighters Guild and the Mages Guild increased in prominence throughout Tamriel. His son and successor Uriel II reigned for 18 years, from the death of Uriel I in the 64th year of the Third Era to Pelagius' second accession in the 82nd year of the Third Era. Now, tragically, however, the rule of Uriel II was cursed with blights, plagues, and insurrections. The tenderness he inherited from his father did not serve Tamriel well, and little justice was done. Pelagius II inherited not only the throne from his father, but the debt from the latter's poor financial and judicial management. Pelagius dismissed all of the Elder Council and allowed only those willing to pay great sums to resume their seats. He encouraged similar acts among his vassals, the kings of Tamriel, and by the end of his 17-year reign, Tamriel had returned to prosperity. His critics, however, have suggested that any advisor possessed of wisdom, but not of gold, had been summarily ousted by Pelagius. This may have led to some of the troubles his son Antiochus faced when he, in turn, became emperor. Antiochus was certainly one of the more flamboyant members of the usually austere Septim family. He had numerous mistresses and nearly as many wives, and was renowned for the grandeur of his dress and his high good humor. Unfortunately, his reign was rife with civil war, surpassing even that of his grandfather Uriel II. The War of the Isle in the Third Era, the 110th year, 12 years after Antiochus assumed the throne, nearly took the province of Somerset Isle away from Tamriel. The united alliance of the kings of Somerset and Antiochus only managed to defeat King Orgum of the island kingdom of Pidaonia due to the freak. It was a freak storm. Legend credits the Sigic order of the Isle of Artanium with the sorcery behind the tempest. The story of Keturah II, heiress to her father Antiochus' throne, is certainly one of the saddest tales in imperial history. Her first cousin Uriel, son of Queen Potema of Solitude, accused Keturah of being a bastard, alluding to the infinite decadence of the imperial city during her father's reign. Now, see, I thought you had to be a guy to be a bastard. I didn't know a girl could be a bastard. Now, maybe you can. I'm not saying this book is wrong. I'm saying I didn't know. And we probably shouldn't say the word bastard right here on our G-rated YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. We'll never say bastard again. When this accusation failed to stop her coronation, Uriel brought the support of several disgruntled kings of High Rock, Skyrim, and Morrowind, which is a different game, and with Queen Potema's assistance, he coordinated 3 attacks on the Septim Empire. The first attack occurred in the Iliac Bay region, which separates High Rock and Hammerfell. Keturah's entourage was massacred and the empress taken captive. For 2 years, Keturah II languished in an imperial prison believed to be somewhere in Glen Point or Glenmoral, before she was slain in her cell under mysterious circumstances. The second attack was on a series of imperial garrisons along coastal Morrowind Islands. The emperor's consort, Contim Arnix, fell defending the forts. The third and final attack was a siege of the imperial city itself, occurring after the Elder Council had split up the army to attack western High Rock and eastern Morrowind. The weakened government had little defense against Uriel's determined aggression and capitulated after only a fortnight of resistance. Now, being an American, I don't know how long a fortnight is, but there was only a fortnight of resistance. Uriel took the throne that same evening and proclaimed himself Uriel III, Emperor of Tamriel. The year was the 121st year of the Third Era. Thus began the War of the Red Diamond, described in Volume 2 of this series.
Although, come to think of it, I did hear some odd noises coming from over here.
Come with us. We need to get out of here.
You have no authority over me.
Didn't you hear me? I said...
Yeah, we all heard you. Now we're going to put on the special armor. As you see, this hood increases our magic up by 50 points. The cuirass does a whole bunch of stuff that's in really small print, but it's all magical, and we're mages, so we want to do that. The bracers, the battle mage bracers, regenerate magic up 50% faster, and with the battle mage boots, we increase our magic resistance by 21%. So we like all of that, but we only have an armor rating of 53 at this point. A Brief History of the Empire Part 2 by Sernach D. Khajiit, the third Imperial historian. I should say, by the way, that I'm not a lore master, and I'm not used to pronouncing these names. I see them in the books from time to time. I read about half the books. I'm not going to read them all in this run-through. I'm going to just, decide when I see a book whether to read it to you or not. So sometimes, this is all to say, sometimes I will mispronounce the name of somebody because I just don't know how it's pronounced. If it's not said out loud during a game or during a part of a game that I've played, I might get it wrong. Or I might mispronounce it on purpose because I think it's funny. I'm here to be a sarcastic, PC witty gamer, and so I might do it for humor purposes. As humor is based, comedy purposes. Comedy is based on timing. Comedy is based on timing. You gotta get the timing down right. Volume 1 of this series described in brief the lives of the first 8 emperors of the Septim dynasty, beginning with the glorious Tiber Septim and ending with his great-great-great-grandniece Keturah II. Keturah's murder in Glenpoint while in captivity is considered by some to be the end of the pure strain of Septim blood in the imperial family. Surely it marks the end of something significant. Uriel III not only proclaimed himself Emperor of Tamriel, but also Uriel Septim III, taking the eminent surname as a title. In truth, his surname was Metiarco from his father's line. In time, Uriel III was deposed and his crimes reviled, but the tradition of taking the name Septim as a title for the Emperor of Tamriel did not die with him. For 6 years, the War of the Red Diamond, which takes its name from the Septim family famous badge, tore the empire apart. The combatants were the 3 surviving children of Pelagius II, Potema, Sepphoris, and Magnus, and their various offspring. Potema, of course, supported her son Uriel III, and had combined support of all of Skyrim and Northern Morrowind, which is a different game. With the efforts of Sepphoris and Magnus, however, the province of High Rock turned cold. The provinces of Hammerfell, which hopefully will be another game in the future, Somerset Isle, Valenwood Elsewhere, and Black Marsh, were divided in their loyalty, but most kings supported Sepphoris and Magnus, and most kings knew that the people alive today would probably not live to see video games based on Valenwood Elsewhere and Black Marsh, much less the Somerset Isle. In the 127th year of the Third Era, Uriel III was captured at the Battle of Icadog in Hammerfell. En route to his trial in the imperial city, a mob overtook his prisoner's carriage and burned him alive within it, which is worse than what happened to us. We were just trying to take a nap, and we were arrested and put in a prisoner's carriage, brought here to be executed. Well, I guess what they intended for us was worse, but it didn't happen to us because so far we've gotten away. And it's really weird that for the whole rest of the game, nobody tries to recapture us and behead us, even though that was our sentence. His captor and uncle continued on to the imperial city, and by common acclaim was proclaimed Sepphoris I, Emperor of Tamriel. Sepphoris' reign was marked by nothing but war. By all accounts, he was a kind and intelligent man, but what Tamriel needed was a great warrior, and he, fortunately, was that. It took an additional 10 years of constant warfare for him to defeat his sister Potema. Oh, I can defeat my sister a lot faster than that. The so-called Wolf Queen of Solitude, who died in the siege of her city-state in the year 137. Sepphoris survived his sister by only 3 years. He never had time during the war years to marry, so it was his brother, the 4th child of Pelagius II, who assumed the throne. The Emperor Magnus was already elderly when he took up the imperial diadem, and the business of punishing the traitorous kings of the War of the Red Diamond drained much of his remaining strength. Legend accuses Magnus's son and heir Pelagius III of patricide, but that seems highly unlikely, for no other reason than that Pelagius was king of Solitude following the death of Potema and seldom visited the imperial city. Yeah, apparently he couldn't have somebody else do it for him. Right. There's no such thing as a conspiracy. Pelagius III, sometimes called Pelagius the Mad, was proclaimed emperor in the 145th year of the Third Era. Almost from the start, his eccentricities of behavior were noted at court. He embarrassed probably by not being able to say that word. He embarrassed dignitaries, offended his vassal kings, and on one occasion marked the end of an imperial grand ball by attempting to hang himself. His long-suffering wife was finally awarded with the regency of Tamriel, and Pelagius III was sent to a series of healing institutions and asylums until his death in the 153rd year of the Third Era at the age of 34. The Empress Regent of Tamriel was proclaimed Empress Kateria I upon the death of her husband. Some who do not mark the end of the Septian bloodline with the death of Kinchira II consider the ascendancy of this dark elf woman the true mark of its decline. Her defenders, on the other hand, assert that although Kateria was not descended from Tiber, the son she had with Pelagius was, so the imperial chain did continue. Despite racist assertions to the contrary, Kaitira's 46-year reign was one of the most celebrated in Tamriel's history. Uncomfortable in the imperial city, Kaitira traveled extensively through the empire, such as no emperor ever had since Tiber's day. She repaired much of the damage that previous emperors' broken alliances and bungled diplomacy created. The people of Tamriel came to love their empress far more than the nobility did. Kaitira's death in a minor skirmish in Black Marsh is a favorite subject of conspiracy-minded historians. The sage Montelius' discovery, for instance, of the disenfranchised branch of the Septium family and their involvement with the skirmish was a revelation indeed. I should point out I am using a Conspiracy of Skyrim mod. So far it's added a lot of life to the storytelling of Skyrim, and I am very thankful and grateful to the mod author. When Cassander assumed the throne upon the death of his mother, he was already middle-aged. Only half-elven, he aged like a Breton. In fact, he had left the rule of Wayrest to his half-brother, Uriel, due to poor health. Nevertheless, as the only true blood relation of Pelagius and thus Tiber, he was pressed into accepting the throne. To no one's surprise, the Emperor Cassander's reign did not last long. In 2 years, he joined his predecessors in eternal slumber. Uriel Lariat, Cassander's half-brother and the child of Kateria I, and her imperial consort Galaveri Lariat, after the death of Pelagius III, left the kingdom of Wayrest to reign as Uriel IV. Legally, Uriel IV was a Septium. Cassander had adopted him into the royal family when he had become king of Wayrest. Nevertheless, to the council and the people of Tamriel, he was a bastard child of Kateria. I'm sorry, I said I wouldn't say that word again. Now I really won't say it again. Please like and subscribe. We'd like to build up a community to support gaming and gaming habits and eccentric, sarcastic people like me. Uriel did not possess the dynamism of his mother, and his long 43-year reign was a hotbed of sedition. Uriel IV's story is told in the 3rd volume of this series. They made a 3rd one? Oh, this is terrible.
See if you can get it. Some pics. We need everything we can get. Shoo, take all my things, please.
We're just doing this, by the way, to work on our lock picking skills. We probably should also work on our nose picking, but we don't see that listed as a skill, which is a shame. There's gold. There's the guy was wearing a mage's hood that had magic abilities, so we could disenchant it to learn how the enchantment is done, which we probably will, or we could sell it and get some money for it. I've played around with the idea of just recording these videos and then doing the commentary later, so that I'm not playing and doing the commentary at the same time. You'd get fewer uhs, and you might get more excitement out of them. I don't know, because if I do that, then I have to record the video first, which I'm willing to do all of this, by the way. But then I'd have to record the audio for them, so that's a second time of doing the whole video. Then I'd have to play it back and do the editing, and then render them all completely. And you might say, that's not such a big deal. Well, that's because most of the people you're subscribed to, they put up 1 or 2 videos a week. In the 3 weeks that I've been doing my YouTube channel, this is like the 105th one. You might not know that because a lot of them are scheduled to premiere, or to debut, I should say, in the future. But so far this would be like the 105th video. So I could do more video content if I don't have to spend as much time editing and adding to the previous ones. But I'm probably going to experiment with adding after shooting commentary, like a director's commentary, to the videos afterwards, to see if they're more exciting, funnier, and all of that. We'll just see what works, and then we'll do what works. The Book of the Dragonborn by Prior Emmeline Madrine, Order of Talos, Wane of Priority, year 360 of the Third Era, 21st of the reign of His Majesty Pelagius IV. Many people have heard the term Dragonborn. We are, of course, ruled by the Dragonborn Emperors, but the true meaning of the term is not commonly understood. For those of us in the Order of Talos, this is a subject near and dear to our hearts. And in this book, I will attempt to illuminate the history and significance of those known as Dragonborn down through the ages. Most scholars agree that the term was first used in connection with the Covenant of Akatosh, when the Blessed Saint Alicia was given the Amulet of Kings, and the dragon fires in the Temple of the One were first lit. Akatosh, looking with pity upon the plight of men, drew precious blood from his own heart, and blessed Saint Alicia with this blood of dragons, and made a covenant that so long as Alicia's generations were true to the dragon blood, Akatosh would endeavor to seal tight the gates of oblivion, and to deny the armies of Daedra and undead to their enemies, the Daedra-loving Aliads. Those blessed by Akatosh with the dragon blood became known more simply as Dragonborn. The connection with the rulers of the empire was thus there from the beginning. Only those of the dragon blood were able to wear the Amulet of Kings and light the dragon fires. All the legitimate rulers of the empire have been Dragonborn. The emperors and empresses of the first Cyrodiilic Empire, founded by Alicia, Remen Cyrodiil and his heirs, and of course Tiber Septim and his heirs, even Captain Picard, who does the Emperor in the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, down to our current emperor, His Majesty Pelagius Septium IV. Because of this connection with the emperors, however, the other significance of the Dragonborn has been obscured and largely forgotten by all but scholars and those of us dedicated to the service of the blessed Talos, who was Tiber Septim. Very few realize that being Dragonborn is not simply a matter of heredity. Being the blessing of Akatosh himself, it is beyond our understanding exactly how and why it is bestowed. Those who become emperor and light the dragon fires are surely Dragonborn. The proof is in the wearing of the amulet and the lighting of the fires. But were they Dragonborn and thus able to do these things? Or was the doing the sign of the blessing of Akatosh descending upon them? All that we can say is that it is both and neither. A divine mystery. The line of septums have all been Dragonborn, of course, which is one reason the simplistic notion of it being hereditary has become so commonplace. But we know for certain that the early Cyrodiilic rulers were not all related. There is also no evidence that Raymond Cyrodiil was ascended from Elysia, although there are many legends that would make it so, most of them dating from the time of Raymond and likely attempts to legitimize his rule. We know that the Blades, usually thought of as the Emperor's bodyguards, originated in Akaviri, crusaders who invaded Tamriel for obscure reasons in the late First Era. They appear to have been searching for a Dragonborn. The events of Pale Pass bear this out, and the Akaviri were the first to proclaim Raymond Cyrodiil as Dragonborn. In fact, it was the Akaviri who did the most to promote his standing as emperor, although Raymond himself never took that title in his lifetime. And of course, there is no known hereditary connection between Tiber Septim and any of the previous Dragonborn rulers of Tamriel. Whether there can be more than one Dragonborn at any time is another mystery. The emperors have done their best to dismiss this notion, but of course the imperial succession itself means that at the very least there are two or more potential Dragonborn at any time, the current ruler and his or her heirs. The history of the Blades also hints at this. Although little is known of their activities during the interregnum between Raymond's empire and the rest of Tiber Septim, the rise of Tiber Septim, many believe that the Blades continue to search out and guard those they believed were or might be Dragonborn during this time. Good. Yeah, it's nice that the Blades defend the Dragonborn. I kind of wish I was Dragonborn then. Lastly, we come to the question of the true meaning of being Dragonborn. That's what this whole book was supposed to be about, you doofus. The connection with dragons is so obvious that it has almost been forgotten. In these days, when dragons are a distant memory, we forget that in the early days, being Dragonborn meant having the dragon blood. Some scholars believe that was meant quite literally, although the exact significance is not known. The Nords tell tales of Dragonborn heroes who are great dragon slayers, able to steal the power of the dragons they killed. Indeed, it is well known that the Akaviri sought out and killed many dragons during their invasion, and there is some evidence that this continued after they became Raymond Cyrodiil's Dragon Guard. Again, the connection to dragons, the direct predecessor to the Blades of today. I leave you with what is known as the prophecy of the Dragonborn. It is often said to originate in an Elder Scroll, although it is sometimes also attributed to the ancient Akaviri. Many have attempted to decipher it, and many have also believed that its omens have been fulfilled and that the advent of the last Dragonborn was at hand. I make no claims as an interpreter of prophecy, but it does suggest that the true significance of Akatosh's gift to mortal kind has yet to be fully understood. When misrule takes its place, at the 8 corners of the world. When the brass tower works and time is reshaped. When the thrice blessed fail and the red tower trembles. When the dragonborn ruler loses his throne and the white tower falls. When the snow tower lies sundered, kingless, bleeding. The world eater wakes and the wheel turns upon the last dragonborn. Well, I guess I should take an iron dagger then. Now, I'm going to point out I am playing what I call the coward class. So the coward class sits back and lobs magic and projectiles at the enemy rather than getting up in their face. I'm reminded of this because I just picked up a little dagger. Well, to use that little dagger, you'd have to get up in the face of the enemy, which means the enemy could do you a lot of damage while you're trying to get at them. So you have to be pretty brave to get up there with your shield and your dagger to work with it. I'm in the back hurling fire at them. Sometimes a fireball. And if I run out of magicka, I'm going to do arrows at them. I call this the coward class. A very legitimate class in the Elder Scrolls universe. I would also like to point out that many of the animals you see, from the extra spiders to other things, were added by me with mods. We have the Beasts of Tamriel mod, the Skyrim Immersive Creatures mod, and a few others. In fact, I might have to get rid of some because I'm not sure why the saved games stop loading at a certain point. But right now, I'm just covering up for this by starting new characters, because I like new characters anyway, and I have other Bethesda games to fix as well, so that I can play them in this channel. If you become a subscriber, which is free, remember, you will have an input on what games get played and talked about in this channel.
All right. Let's find a way out.
I have thousands, literally thousands. This isn't a brag. In fact, I probably spent way too much money on games.
Let's see where this goes.
But I have thousands of games on my computer that I could play for your enjoyment, your entertainment, and your education. In the first few days of the channel, I have concentrated on mainly, now I've played a few others, but I've concentrated mainly on the hits. Skyrim is definitely a hit. Now up here, this level right there, or maybe it was higher up, was that bridge we just crossed. the wooden bridge, and these are the planks of that bridge. Now I wish we could just climb up to climb out of this cave, but we cannot. So we will continue on. We are sneaking just to build up our sneak skill. My characters are generally stealth characters. I don't like this guy telling me what to do so much. I mean, I'm not in the military. He's not my commander.
I guess we'd better try this one.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're safe. Like you said, we survived everything. It's not like the next cavern is going to be filled with giant spiders or something. We're cool. Let's go. You lead. I'll follow. We're safe. We just need to get out of this dungeon. Everything will be great. You notice the dungeon is very well lit, even though I told it to do a high level of darkness in the caves. I think this cave is exempt. And to my shock, there are actual giant spiders here. So, and you know, we talked about, I've added with mods that other people made, I've added, you know, animals to the game. For the most part, I've been using them so long I don't remember which things are vanilla and which things are added. So when I say vanilla, that just means not added by a mod. Now the things I've added most recently, I will tend to remember. But if some of the mods I've been running, you know, I've been running for years and years. I played this game over 13,000 hours. So of those, I often don't remember what is vanilla and what is mod. I don't typically use mods that make it easier to win the game or to play the game. I use mods that add characters, add weapons, armor, add quests to the game and things like that to make it more interesting. And don't get me wrong, vanilla Skyrim is plenty interesting. But there are tools that Bethesda, the game company that made Skyrim itself, has made available to us so that we can modify their game.
I'd rather not tangle with it right now. I might be able to sneak by. Just take it nice and slow and watch where you step. Or if you're feeling like it, you can take this boat. Might take it by surprise.
Some people have done complete conversions of Skyrim to make it into a game that isn't Skyrim. Like Enderall is an example of that. And what I've seen of Enderall so far, I would say that it's a great game. Now we just snuck past the bear, but I happen to know that in the future I'm going to need bear pelts, so I'm going to go kill the bear. Now for everybody in PETA that has an objection to this, remember this is a fake bear in a fantasy game. No real bears were damaged in the making of this video. And it doesn't cause people to want to harm bears more than not wanting to harm bears. I don't want to kill any bears in real life. There'd be no purpose in them.
This looks like the way out.
Bears are unclean animals. I, as a Jew, cannot eat bears. So I probably will never kill a bear my whole life. Now we're leaving the tutorial. Survival adds the need to eat, sleep, and stay warm. It also adds additional challenges such as fast traveling, reduced carry weight, and leveling up only when you sleep. See the survival mode entry in help for details. Well, I think the first thing I would need is to know where help is. Games used to be sold with manuals. Some of the manuals were huge. The manual I remember for Sid Meier's Civilization 3 was a few hundred pages. And to be clear, I only read these manuals when my computer wasn't working. So when I couldn't play the game in question, I would read the manuals. But modern games don't have manuals for the most part. So I don't know. When it says look in help
But I don't think we should stick
for
around
more
and see if
on
he
the
comes
survival mode, I don't know what it's talking about.
Closest town from here is Riverwood. My uncle's the blacksmith there. I'm sure he'd help you out. It's probably best if we split up. Good luck. I wouldn't have made it without your help today.
So Hadvar just said that I saved his life. He wouldn't have made it if I wasn't there. And then he says we should split up. So he doesn't seem very grateful to be alive, that I saved his life. And he's talking about how dangerous it is out here. And he knows I don't know anything about how to make it on my own out here. And he's willing to abandon me
Listen,
to being killed
join up with the Imperial Legion. We could really use someone.
by
The
animals.
rebels have themselves a dragon. General Tullius is the only one who can stop them.
By people. There's a war going on, so I could easily be killed by somebody either in the crossfire or because they think I'm the enemy, even though I'm not in any army. He doesn't care, even though he acknowledges that the only reason he's alive is because I saved his life. So what I get from this is he's not very grateful. Maybe he wasn't raised right. Maybe his parents didn't teach him how to show gratitude. I don't know. But because of this, he is not our companion. And so he's going to go his own way. And we wish him the best. And we're collecting flowers because I know in the future I will be able to use them to concoct useful potions. But again, I'm not following him because I already know that he is going to abandon me. So I don't see the purpose in following him. I'm left on my own to learn whatever I can about Skyrim. And as far as I could tell, because people say this to me in the game, as far as I could tell, I know nothing of Skyrim. I've never been here before. I haven't read a guide on it or anything other than the books you've literally heard me read. So, for instance, I know it has 9 holds. And I know something of the political history, which probably won't help me too much. You know, who reigned from this year to that year, and Quintira, and Pelagius the Mad, and things like that. But none of that would really help me now that I'm plopped down in Skyrim, and would probably prefer to survive more than not survive. Now this bastion I installed because there is a civil war. It seems ridiculous that the different factions would be holding territory but then not have the borders of that territory guarded. People would just be able to come in from other armies and killify your citizens, which means your citizens wouldn't be available to be drafted for war. Your numbers would be diminished, they wouldn't be able to supply money, food, or anything for the war effort. That seems hard to believe. So when I found a mod that would let me have guards on the borders, I went for it. All the bandits in the game, you know, she didn't come after me, but all the bandits in the game are supposed to be hostile to the player, which means you can kill them without the game considering it to be murder. Now we're going to go back to these standing stones we just left. They grant powers to you, and you can only have the powers of one stone at a time. So I'm going to go pick up some powers, and then we're not going to go to Riverwood like Hadvar said to do. We'll go there later, but we're going to take, oh, they're guardian stones, not standing stones. So those under the sign of the Mage will learn all Mageic skills 20% faster. Now because I'm a coward class, the coward classes are more likely to use the Mage skills. So I'm going to take this one. You may only have one sign blessing at a time. So now our Mageic skills will progress faster, 20% faster. And that's something. A lot of benefits you get in the game are like that. You might wear armor that makes your magic restore faster, or it might make casting a spell cost less. Oh, since we got out of the cave, let me end this. I'm going to end this video, then I'm going to start another one. So I am your poorly aging, sarcastic, PC witty gamer. Please consider subscribing to our channel. We're just trying to build a community, entertain, inform, delight people. Help us get going, will you?